Hi, my name's Aaron, and today we're going to be breaking down this. So a couple quick notes before we start. If you check out the description, there's a link that'll take you to my website where you can download tabs for this lesson. Additionally, there are some choices that I made that are a little bit different than the choices that Mateus made. For example, he's amazing at hiding the pick in his fingers and kind of pulling it out when he thinks it would make an important tonal difference. I'm just going to stick with my fingers for this because it's easier for me. It's what I'm a little more used to. So I've broken this lesson down into multiple different sections, and I have them time-coded in the description. Hopefully that makes it a little easier for you to follow along. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to play through the section first, right up front, and then we'll talk about what's going on. So this is probably the shortest section, but we come back to it often, so I kind of just wanted to, make it stand out as its own thing. So we're going from D, and it's kind of like we're playing a power chord, but we're only going to I'm hitting the E string with my thumb, the A string with my index finger, and the G string with my middle finger. And so that's just root, 5th, 3rd, or 10th fret, 12th fret, 11th fret. Then we're moving down to a C sharp minor, just the root and the 3rd, so we're hitting the root with our middle finger, the 3rd with our ring finger, so that root is the 9th fret of the E string, the 3rd is the 9th fret of the G string. B minor, we're doing the same shape, so root and 3rd, both on the 7th fret, and then we get to A, which is root, 5th, 3rd, and we're playing that shape exactly like we played the D shape, just with our index finger on the 5th fret. And my picking hand, I've got thumb, index, middle, thumb, middle, thumb, middle, thumb, index, middle. All right, so for this section, he's kind of, we're into the chord melody of it, and he's playing the melody, and he's kind of moving around the neck a lot, and he's able to do that because he has this in a key, and I'm not sure if this is the original key of the song or if he transposed it, but he's in the key of A, so he's hitting a lot of these open notes. The 1 is A, the 5 is E. There's really no other way to get F sharp, and then you have the 4, which is D. So he's able to hit a lot of those open strings, which kind of means that the melody is really free range wherever he wants to play it all over the fretboard. So we're going to start off 2nd fret of the D string, and that's 2nd, 4th, 4th of the A string, 2nd of the D. And then he's hitting that open A. So, and then he's following that with the E, the low E. he does that hit a couple times, so I'll talk about it once, and then we won't really talk about it for the rest of the lesson. So what he's doing is he's hitting, and he's making sure that all of the other strings are muted. So whether you're muting them with your thumb or these fingers up here, he's hitting all the strings, and it gives it a really percussive kind of attack. But he's making sure, like I said, whether it's with these fingers down here or with this thumb up here, he's making sure that every string is muted except for, in this case, the D string. So we have A, E, and the melody over the E is this little... And so the way I'm fingering that down here looks a little funky. I'm doing index and ring, almost kind of like right out of an E major. And then when we slide up, our index finger is going to land on the 4th, and our ring finger is going to kind of stretch out a little bit and spread itself. So the ring finger will be on the 6th of the D string. So that sounds like this. And that's over that E. Moving on, we're going up to an F sharp minor, right? So that'd be like an F sharp minor 7. He starts off and he's barring his index finger on this ninth fret of the A string and D string, and he's hammering on. So he's going root up to the 5th. So hitting them both together down here. And then he lays his middle finger down and kind of hits like a staccato. And then he's moving on to an open D with this is the melody. So, and that note right there, if you're thinking about like either the A major pentatonic or F sharp minor, it's a relative minor pentatonic. That's the note he's hitting. So all together, so far. Now we're moving on. We've completed the circle of the chord progression. We hit A, E, F sharp, and D. Now we're going back to A. And we're going to kind of think about this next thing is like you got your A major here, and you're just hitting the octave and the 3rd. So where your pinky and middle finger would usually be playing, now your middle finger and your index finger are playing that, and we're hitting the open A string, hammering our ring finger onto the 7th fret of the G string. So this hand, I'm just thumb, index, and middle, plucking those strings. And we're hammering on ring finger. And once we let it off, we're going to move the ring finger and replace where the middle finger was. We're going to replace that with our ring finger because when where we're going to end up, we're going to need that to be stretched out. I'll show you. So he's going up 1 fret, back down 1 fret, and then the index travels 2 frets while the ring finger only travels 1. So, and then that kind of puts you right in position for this little flourish, which is kind of cool. So we ended here. Your middle finger just drops onto the 5th fret of that B string. Your ring finger comes up and hammers on. And that's a cool little maneuver. If you take anything out of this, that would be one really cool thing to take out of it. So not just hammering on and pulling off, but hammering on, and then with a pluck, pulling back off. So it's 2 different plucks. And then you're hitting thumb over here, just grabbing the D string, and your pinky is hammering onto that 7th fret. And then we're back to, so that's kind of like the beginning. The beginning we played the D here though. So now we're just going to play the D, like a big old fat D major on the 5th fret of the A string. And then rather than just going to the C sharp, we're going to have our index finger on the 7th fret of that G string, so that way we can hammer up to the 3rd of the C sharp. And then to end out this section, so he's index barred on the B string and the E string, 5th fret, hammering on to the B string, 7th fret, and then back to the 5th fret of the B and E string, and then sliding down to the blues note we talked about earlier. So remember, A major pentatonic, got the blues note there. So slow all together. It sounds like this. So the next section, you're starting with like an A major triad. So ring finger on the 7th of the D, middle finger on the 6th of the G, index on the 5th of the B. And I think of it like that, you know. And then playing an open A string. And then we add our pinky onto the 7th fret of the B string. And we're doing that percussive thing. And the reason we're definitely going to do it there is because we need that note to sustain. We need that because we're not going to, do anything else with the right hand, and we're hitting quite a bit of notes via slides with that pinky. So we want to make sure that we hit it nice and hard so that it rings out through the duration of those slides. So we're going 7, 10, 5, 7, 8, 7, pull off to the index finger on the 5. So that's all on the B string. Now when we get back up to that 7th fret of the B string, we're going to hit the E string with our thumb. So one more time. Moving on, we're going to do a little diminished thing. So we have this diminished chord. You could think of it like in E7, flat 9, or however you want to think about it. But the middle finger is on the 8th fret of the A string, ring finger on the 9th fret of the D string, index on the 7th of the G string, pinky on the 9th of the B string. And we're taking that shape and moving it up 3 frets. So whether you want to think about your index finger going from the 7 to the 10, or your middle going from the 8 to the 11, however you want to visualize that, you just want to make sure that it's the same shape, 3 frets up. So all together. And now we're going to move on to an E triad with an F sharp in the bottom. We're playing that with our thumb. And we're gonna, so this would be like an E over F sharp. We're gonna immediately turn that into an F sharp minor 7 by barring that ring finger. It's kind of a cool little thing I've never done before, but we'll probably do more now because it sounds cool. So immediately followed by a pentatonic lick. So a little blues lick there So you're just thinking about F sharp minor pentatonic or A major pentatonic, starting with that index finger on the 14th fret of the E string. So, and then we're moving to D string open, ring finger on the 12th fret of the B, middle on the 11th of the G, index on the 10th of the B. So all together, that sounds like this. And you're going to finish it out with a slide down to the 7th and 5th fret of the B string. So then we're moving on. We're going to hit this open A with the 6ths on the D and B strings. So we're going to slide from the 12th fret, ring finger and pinky on the D and B, up to the 14th fret, all while that low A is ringing. Then we're going to bar that fret with our index. And then hammer on, middle finger onto the 15th of the B, pinky onto the 17th of the B. So, and then back to that shape. And then we're going to hit the low E string. Pinky does a flourish up to the 15th fret. And then pinky does a pull off down to the index on the 12th fret of the B string. So all together. Then we're going to close it out. So ring finger kind of slides down to 12, index takes over at 10, and then we're playing a D. And then just a quick note, I'm not sure if I said to just hammer on the G string there. It's exactly like what we did when we were here. But now we're up here. So if you want a little bit of extra flavor, he does it so fast it's kind of hard to tell, but you can also hit the D string with that index finger. Nice and quick. So all together, I'll play that section slow. I honestly was not expecting this video to be so long, but I had to break it into 2 parts. So be sure to check for the second part in the description. And if you like the video, be sure to like it and subscribe. Thanks.